is about simplifying fractions. Now this relates really well to our video on equivalent fractions, so if you haven't watched that one, it might be worth watching that one before this. Okay, so simplifying fractions, what do we mean by that? Well, you could have a fraction 50 over 100. Remember, a fraction is one number divided by another number. That's quite large numbers there, and actually you probably already know that 50 over 100 is equal to a half. If you didn't know that, well, how do we work it out? Simplifying fractions. So what the idea is, we're trying to get these numbers smaller. So if there is a way that we can change that number by dividing it, obviously we can divide 100 by 50 and that will give us 2, and we can divide 50 by 50, which will give us 1. The important thing when we're doing simplifying fractions, we need a number that both of these numbers can be divided by. So if we had a number like 5 over 17, we cannot simplify that fraction because, as you will see from our video on prime numbers coming soon, 5 and 17 are prime numbers, which means they can only be divided by themselves and 1. So we could divide by 1, but that will still give us 5/17. So you can't always simplify a fraction, but when you can, it just makes things, as the name suggests, more simple. Okay, so let me show you how to simplify a few fractions. So first of all, we're going to look at nice simple one, 2/4. When you start learning simplifying fractions at school, they'll often give you fractions where they'll say halve the top number and halve the bottom number. So if we do half of 2, we get 1, half of 4, we get 2. So 2/4 equals 1/2. So a similar one, we look at this one, we look at 2/6. Again, we're going to halve the top number, half of 2 is 1, and then half of 6 is 3. So if we simplify 2/4, we get a half, simplify 2/6, we get a third. Okay, let's do a couple more before, I can do more than 2 more, but as usual, at the end, we're going to give you a few examples to try for yourself. So 9/12. Okay, so this time we can't just do half the top number, half the bottom number, because half of 9 is 4.5, and I call these illegal fractions. I do sometimes use them, but you can't really have a fraction where you have a decimal and a whole number. So that's why I call them illegal fractions. So we can't have an illegal fraction. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and divide by another number. So this is where, so later on we'll be doing a video on factors. This is where you need to be good with your factors. So you will know that a factor, one of the factors of 9 is 3. So if we divide by 3, 9 divided by 3 will give us 3, and then 12 divided by 3 will give us 4. So what we've done, as in our equivalent fractions video, dividing 9 by 3 to get 3. So because we divided by 3 there, we must divide by 3 here. So just change that one, make it a bit clearer. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that little saying, whatever you do to the top number, you've got to do the same to the bottom number. Okay, so another one we could do is 6/9. So 6/9, and we want to simplify that. Again, we've got 9, so we can't halve it because that would give us an illegal fraction. So what we're going to do, once again, we already know now from our last question that 9 divided by 3 equals 3. So in that case, we're going to divide 6 by 3 as well. Whatever we do to the bottom, we're going to do to the top. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So simplifying 6/9, we get 2/3. Right, next we're going to do something which is going to be a subject of a video on its own, because people do find it tricky, is a few improper fractions, or top-heavy fractions as I like to call them. As you can see, I do have my own little terminology which may not be found in any maths books. Top-heavy fractions and illegal fractions. Okay, right, so these are officially known as improper fractions, or in my language, they're known as top-heavy fractions because they're heavier on top than on the bottom. So to do this, remember this is basically 3/2, so you might know that 3/2 is 1.5. If you didn't know that, use your bus stop. Again, bus stop will be subject of another video that we'll produce later. Using bus stop, how many 2's go into 3? It's 1. Doesn't have to be a wiggly one, could be a straight one, but mine's wiggly. So how many 2's go into 3 is 1, and the remainder is 1. Then you put the fraction line here. So what goes on the bottom here? Whatever was here. So that's 1/2. So 3/2 simplified is 1.5. Okay, another top-heavy or improper fraction is 5/4, which is 5/4. So 4's into 5 is 1, the remainder is 1. Whatever number was here, we put here to give us 1.25. Okay, 2 more of these and I'm going to let you have a go at a few questions. So 8/3, how many 3's in 8 is 2? We've got 2 left over. Take that number, put it here. So 8/3, or 8/3 is 2 2/3. Last one we're going to do is 6/4. 2 ways of doing this, so I'm just going to do it twice. So good, I did it twice. Okay, so one way is we realise that we can actually divide both of these numbers by something. So if we do half of 6 is 3, so we're dividing by 2. And then half of 4, again dividing by 2, is going to give us 2. Right, we haven't finished because we've still got an illegal fraction, which if you've got sharp eyes, you would have, not illegal fraction, top-heavy fraction, you would have spotted is already here. So what we did here was we did how many 2's in 3? 1, remainder 1, take that number. So 6/4 is the same as 1.5. So another way we could have done this, we could have said how many 4's in 6, which is 1. What was our remainder? 2. Take that number, and we've got 1 2/4. Okay, so we've got a whole 1. Then what we're going to do, we can simplify 2/4. Half of 2 is 1, half of 4 is 2. So luckily, as I always say to my tutees, we've managed to get the same answer by 2 different methods. Just proving in maths there's more than one way of doing something, but it's always best when you can get the same answer. If you get different answers, it's not so great. Okay, so these are the questions for you. There's just going to be 4 questions, and I'll just give you a few seconds. So as soon as it goes up on the board, the first one is 6/8, right? Work out what that one would be if you simplified it. Okay, so hopefully you've done this one by now. So because we realise they're both in the 2 times table, we're going to halve them. So half of 6 is 3, half of 8 is 4. So 6/8 simplified would be 3/4. Okay, our next one is going to be 8/10. Okay, so try that one. Hopefully you've got that one done. So again, they're in the 2 times table. So half of 8 is 4, half of 10 is 5. So 8/10 simplified would be 4/5. Right, next one is 6/9. Right, so have a go at that one. Right, these are not in the two, well, not both in the 2 times table, but they're both in the 3. So we're going to divide by 3. Divide whatever we do to the top, we're going to do to the bottom. We divide the top by 3, which will give us 2. We divide the bottom by 3, which will give us 3. So 6/9 simplified will become 2/3. And we're going to do one improper fraction, so I'll put it up so you can start doing that one now. Okay, so hopefully you've done that one by now. So let's have a look. How many 2s in 7? Well, there are 3. So 3 wholes, and then the remainder is 1. Take that number from there, which is 3.5, which makes sense because if you had 7 biscuits, you shared it between 2 people, there would be 3.5 biscuits each. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching that video. And if you enjoyed that, please check out our website for more great online resources. So the address is www.routes2success11plus.uk, or find us on Twitter @routes2success. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great videos. Thank you.